So this week we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family a week after Christmas. It kind of makes sense, right? All of our imagery, our Advent imagery about the end times in which we live as a kind of pregnancy that's here but waiting, and then as we celebrated this week, Jesus' birth, and see how God chooses to be with us, chooses to influence us, not with power or authority, no coercion, just asking to be loved, inviting to be loved with all of the power of a little baby. So it's reasonable now. We turn to the Holy Family. I remember growing up, my mom always would compare our family negatively to the Holy Family, and we were always supposed to be more like them. But the Holy Family was always this kind of image of perfection and idealism. And it's like long before Instagram, we had Christmas cards. And I don't mean the Christmas cards we send each other of our own perfect children, probably not the first take or the second take on those pictures. But just the imagery of Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus all wrapped up in fine cloth from the Renaissance period. Like that's not what swaddling clothes looked like, and that's not what it felt like trying to make your way to Egypt while you were being chased by Herod's army. Like, like their lives were complex and difficult, and I would imagine that even the romantic imagery we have of them is unreasonable, right? You don't, at some point along the way, you're hungry enough and tired enough that you're a little bit short fused. And 2-year-olds, no matter how divine they are, scream no a lot. And that can be hard on parents. And like all of these realities of our lives, I think we find probably in the Holy Family's life as well. But as we celebrate family today, I just wanted to think about like the realities. Like if we could leave aside some of the romanticism of what we think family's supposed to be like. And I have this incredibly privileged place in my life because so many of you invite me into your families. And I know the first time I come, the kids are really well behaved and all nicely dressed. And I can smell the threats or the bribes that got them that way, right? I mean, it's fine. Like, and we're all very proud of them. But what's really cool is after a few visits, and they become themselves, and everybody become themselves. And all of our families are like significantly less than perfect. There was a point at which I thought I had the only crazy family in the world, and now I know 100 families that think that they're the only crazy family in the world. But that craziness is where God works in the coming together around a breakfast room table and trying to balance a budget together or balance a checkbook together when there's more than one signature on it, and the efforts of trying to figure out the next phase in our children's development and growth, and how to help them best, and how to survive while we're trying to help them the best we can, like all of this, the mutual accountability, and yes, the romance and the love and the great celebration. We just finished our Christmas celebrations and all the joy and excitement and love that comes with all of the work and preparation of Christmas, right? Like all of these different pieces that come together and do something very basic and boring and mundane and everyday and divine and complete and human and loving. Like all of that in one. We talk a lot about how the family is the church, the domestic church, but again, we impose like some sort of churchiness on our families. But it's exactly the opposite. We learn how to be church, a congregation, a parish, a diocese, by learning what it means to be family, by learning what it means to come together in the ordinary, in the everyday, not just in the high ceremony and the ritual, but around the breakfast room table and at bedtime when nobody wants to go to bed, And in the morning when nobody seems to be able to get their clothes on for church. Like all of those moments are the moments where we learn what it means to be church, to be family, to be together. There's a body of research kind of growing around what's being called the nuns, those who have no religious affiliation. And I think there's a lot of concern about that in the church. And I really am not bringing it as a point of concern, but as a point of sadness. Because our humanity, like we're transcendent in the ordinary. And I don't think it's just religious affiliation that's falling by the wayside. It's transcendence. It's affiliation in family. It's a willingness to love enough to fight at the breakfast room table. It's an expectation that everything will be beautiful and perfect. It's Instagram. And our real lives are so much more beautiful and fruitful and powerful and meaningful when we dig into the ordinary. And we don't have a perfect parish. We don't have a perfect church. We don't have a perfect family. They're all crazy, right? But it's in that holding up each other's pathologies. It's in that bearing with each other's sins. It's in that encountering each other's grace and goodness that humanity is lived out to its fullest, and divinity meets humanity as we believe in the incarnation. Christianity is an incredibly mundane and fleshy and primitive religion, right? We're celebrating births and circumcisions and incarnations. Like that's what, like we're all about blood and flesh and our Savior, like everything he did to save us, whether it was sticking his finger in the deaf man's ear or touching the face of the leper or being nailed to a cross or rolling away the stone and coming out of the tomb. Like it's all so tied to our flesh, like to our ordinary, everyday flesh. But it's in that ordinary, everyday family life that God is present. And whatever that looks like in my crazy family, whatever struggles or pain or loneliness or support or accountability, whatever that looks like, that's where, if I'll embrace it, especially the need and what's broken, if I'll embrace and love there, I'll find my relationship with God. And if we'll take that from our own family structures and bring that to our parish and our community and our church, we'll truly be the Holy Family, the church that God founded in his